Good morning, YouTube. Reseller Mom here. Welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to walk you through selling meltables on Amazon FBA, and it is currently getting into the summer of 2001. So let's dive right in. We're going to cover all aspects, including a walkthrough, packaging, shipping, all of the things that I could think would be questions for somebody that was maybe new to selling meltables with Amazon. Starting at ground zero, let's talk first about how you can find products out there to sell merchant fulfilled. Now, any product really on Amazon you can merchant fulfill, but during the summer months, and this year it is April 15th to October 15th, you will not be able to send meltables into Amazon for FBA fulfillment. And the reason there is because they usually use UPS, and UPS does not have refrigerated trucks, and they got in so much trouble when UPS was doing their deliveries. Everybody was getting melted blobs of goo, and so they implemented the meltable season. Hence, you will see a lot of FBA sellers selling things merchant fulfilled that are considered meltables. So how do you find things that are meltables that you may want to sell? It's going to be the same, scanning out at the stores, and if you think at all it will be meltables, this will pretty much be chocolates, vitamins, gummies, anything that if you left in the car in the heat of the summer for a couple of days and came back to it, if it would be melted into a blob, that would be a meltable. Unfortunately, the scanning apps do not have any way to tell. We're going to touch on that in a bit. One of the easiest things to kind of get your feet wet with merchant fulfilling meltables would be seasonal candy. And a lot of seasonal candy, especially Easter candy, goes on clearance. And so if you're out doing retail arbitrage or even online arbitrage and you see these candies go 75% off, 90% off, it may be worth scanning to see if it's something you can merchant fulfill. Now, for, these candies in particular, you're going to need to be ungated in grocery. And for a lot of the multiple beauty items or vitamin items, you will need to be ungated as well. Sometimes you will need to be ungated in the brand or in the category. This is not an ungating video, so I just wanted to touch on that a lot of meltables will be in a gated category. So keep your eyes open for sales for any seasonal candies that would be good to sell. My favorite seasons are, of course, Halloween, Christmas, Valentine's, and Easter. All four of those tend to have a lot of candy that is really good and profitable and goes on clearance. It sells all year round too, so don't be afraid to sell on the off season. It is still desirable. In this example, currently, right now, I pulled this today. Today is the 10th of May, and these one pack of Cadbury eggs is going for $9.49. These were on clearance at Walmart for 75 cents. Now, you have to get shipping and all the fees taken out of that to see, and I'm going to walk you exactly through how much profit these would be for right now if you were to buy them at 75 cents and sell them at sell them at whatever I sold them at this morning. What you want to do when you are looking at anything you are going to fulfill, whether it's FBA, FBM, is kind of how you should package it. And what my favorite go-to is to look at the reviews for any product. I look at the reviews for, just about anything I am thinking about selling. And what I'm looking for are flags, red flags. If I see a lot of people complaining that it is fake or, not authentic, that could flag your account. So if you're reading reviews, say you are looking at purses or something, and you see a lot of reviews that are calling for the items being fake or inauthentic, you may want to stay away from that listing, because these reviews, if somebody left you a review saying that these are fake, that's going to flag your account, and you're going to have to wind up showing receipts and walking through things with Amazon. I have had that happen in the past. For any sort of glassware, anything sort of breakable, I will look at the reviews to see how Amazon is shipping it, how other people are shipping it, and how the customers are getting it back. So in this one in particular, you can see the images up here. It's terrible. All the little eggs are broken. You can read the reviews that mention expiration date, waste of money, cracked and broken, broken pieces, eggs cracked, eggs were broken. So clearly, broken eggs is a huge flag for this particular item. Here's some other reviews right here, basically complaining that they paid a lot of money and they got a product that was either expired, melted, broken, etc. What this does is it tells me how I want to package up mine. So if I see a lot of broken, it's automatically going to go into a box versus a poly bag. If it's got a lot of meltable issues, then I will increase the amount of ice packs that I will pack with. So things like that. Now that I've got an idea of my item, the price points, and how I want to package it, I can kind of start to piece together from that $9.49 how much it's going to cost me to ship and the packaging materials going in it. Now, I think this is the last slide. Yes, last slide of when you are out shopping. How do you know if it's meltable? There's not a really great way. I'm sure this will change as apps adapt and things get better and products like Inventory Lab will come up with a solution. But currently, as of this date, there is no way on any of these scanning apps to tell if it's meltable. So how do you know? There's two ways. There is a meltable list that Amazon puts out, and it says anything on this list is considered meltable by Amazon and will not be allowed to be shipped into the warehouse. And if you ship it in, they will just destroy it. So don't even bother to do that. You cannot get around it. Don't create another listing and try to get around it either. It will eventually get flagged and destroyed, and it will just be a headache. That list you can download, and if you are at home on the computer, you can copy and do a search find on that list to see if it's on there. I did this back in February to see what ASINs I had currently that were going to be hit for the April 15th, priced accordingly, and then anything that I wanted to get shipped back to me, I go ahead and get shipped back to me. And for wholesale items that I'm doing, I double check and see what's on there and start merging into the FBM strategy for summer and getting it out of FBA. The most common and probably best way is just your common sense. If it will melt in your car, it's going to be a meltable. You don't want to send things in and have your customers complain about it. You don't want to fight negative feedback and returns. It's usually not a good business model to do that. If you go down the road and let's just say you're doing some sort of lipstick and you're selling a lot of them, we'll say 100 to 200 a month, and you go into the summer and all of a sudden you're having a 20% return rate, it's just going to kill your numbers in your matrix and with account problems. Next up, we want to know and have supplies ready to go to ship the items because last minute purchasing for supplies can be very, very costly. My go-to stores for last minute supplies would be Fred Meyer or my UPS store, and boxes, bubble wrap, tape, etc. cost about 3 times as much there, if not more. Last year when COVID hit, supplies became just a crisis level. Every store that had good deals was sold out in minutes. So let's go through and I'll show you how I set up my supplies and what I like to have on hand for my business. I have a Google spreadsheet that I have all my supplies in. I have it broken down by what it is, the link to purchase it, and then what it's going to cost per item. So that way if I'm out and I see a good deal or whatnot, I can then, see what I am currently paying for things. And let's walk through 2 examples. Bubble wrap. I was getting my bubble wrap on Amazon, and then American Bubble Boy is selling directly. It's cheaper. You can get 4 big rolls for $35 sent to you. It's 700 feet per thing. It works out to 5 cents a sheet. Knowing that each of my bubble sheets cost me 5 cents allows me to then calculate in when I'm doing other wholesale items. And let's say I'm sending in 50 breakable items and I know that it's 5 cents a sheet and I want to use 3 sheets per item, I can do the calculations when I'm looking at the overall items, especially when looking at wholesale, when you're beefing up and doing a lot of that, you know, a lot of quantity of the same items. Those cost of goods are going to factor in more. Bubble bags, same thing. I was using the bubble bags, the smaller ones on Amazon, the 100 pack, and they were 13 cents a piece. I found that you can get 1,100 of them and it works out to 7 cents a piece. I am now using enough bubble bags to warrant purchasing 1,100 at a time to save some money there, and I'm basically cutting my bubble bag price in half. Now these little red marks, if you are just starting out and you were wondering like what would I suggest, it'd probably be these little ticks. There was no like if you were just saying, okay, I only have a limited supply of capital, what should I buy first? I would buy these poly bags and then some bubble wrap and then eventually the bubble bags. That's just my rough recommendations, I guess. So I also have ice pack sheets on here. They work out to 12 cents a piece. This is going to come in handy later. I've got gripper tape. It works out to 7 cents a gripper. Label. We've got a variety of poly bags here. And, you know, make your own list. Make those things and know what your supplies are going to cost and have a few general ones on hand. If I'm debating between purchasing 11 by 14 poly bags to ship in or 12 by 15 poly bags to ship in, you know, you can always use a little bit bigger bag and ship smaller items, things like that. So this is the first part of the supply sheet. Then we've got the second part, boxes. Boxes are good to have. This is what I currently have on hand, which is quite a bit, but sometimes I get them on sale or I find a good deal or whatnot and get them. And I like to have a lot of variety of boxes on hand. You don't probably need this many boxes on hand, but I'm currently trying to reduce this list and just have a few. I really love 4x4x4 boxes. I also love 6x6x6s. My other favorites are 8x4s will fit into flat rate bubble mailer packages from the USPS. The 964 are really good to have on hand too. That's one of my favorite boxes as well. And again, I have the prices broken down here. So if I'm looking at packing up a lot of things and they fit in the 4x4x4 box, I need to know that they're 23 cents a piece. And while I like the 6x6, you can see here from Walmart, from Amazon, and from Staples, you've got pretty big price fluctuation, anywhere from 72 cents to 33 cents a piece. So moving on down, the last part is kind of my FBA boxes. I use mostly the medium boxes and the large boxes from Walmart. I have them shipped directly to my house, and my FBA boxes are usually $1.40 to $2 a piece there. So factoring that into my business. Now, all of my shipping supplies are captured on QuickBooks under a shipping supplies tab. That goes into accounting. You can either factor in your shipping supplies accounting wise in Inventory Lab if you're using Inventory Lab, or on a separate line item if you're using QuickBooks, etc. These are the ice packs that I use, and I get them on Amazon. You can see there's a few different count packs here. I just pulled this up this morning. It's $17.80. You get a bunch. I can't remember how many exactly. It was on my supply sheet. If we go back up here, ice pack sheets, you get 144. So the price has gone up a little bit for the summer. It went up about $1. But 144 ice packs does last quite a bit for me because I don't do a huge amount, but I am building that up. So these are the ones that I use. I cut them before I swell them up. If you're interested in that, I did do a walkthrough on how I did my ice packs. I will leave that link down below. And the other thing I use with my bags of ice, or with my ice packs, is a bag, and I use the Walmart bread bags. These are $3.18 for 100 of them. You can get them in Walmart, you know, in the Ziploc aisle. I think it's on the bottom shelf. But these little bags are great for all sorts of things. They are awesome for eBay items. They are awesome to just kind of organize things in the office. If I have a lot of small little things, I can group them up. They're just a great little bag to have around the house. You cannot use them for FBA polybag items. They do not have a warning sticker on them, and they are not the correct thickness. FBA polybags need to be 1.5 mils thick, and these are 0.65 mils thick. How did I find out the mil thickness? I went to the internet and typed in what is the thickness of Walmart bread bags. And if you are purchasing poly bags for your FBA business, usually the mils are posted somewhere, in a bullet point or in the description on where you're going to purchase them. That is important. You always want to follow all of Amazon's terms of services, etc. So these bags, I put my ice packs in them just so that if the condensation and the melting doesn't get over packages and whatnot when I'm packing things up. So now we're going to walk through a sale. Like I was saying earlier, you want to listen and read all of Amazon's terms of service, and their Seller University is an amazing place to see exactly what they expect from you. I mean, I love YouTube, I love Facebook groups, and I love seeing what other people do, but at the end of the day, this is your business, and if you don't adhere to their terms and policies, then you could risk your account, and you want to know what those are. So there's best practices, like using an ice pack, and I put it in a bag so that the condensation doesn't get on the product. That's not in Amazon's how to ship things. Amazon's going to say they want you to ship things in a way that it's going to get to the customer in the best possible way, and then it's the how to do that part that follows. So they do have particular rules that you need to know, and then there's going to be practices for your business that you will need to do so that not your customers, Amazon's customers are happy at the end of the day and they receive exactly what they want. So go through this Seller University, read and know all of the exact rules, and then see how other people do it and what they recommend, and then make your decisions on how to do things. So I will try to point out what are Amazon's rules and then what is kind of Lucy's rules for doing business. Here is the order. This is what the order is going to look like. You're going to find these orders under orders, and then you can see your FBA orders, you can see your FBM orders, you can see pending orders. And when you click on the order, you have two options. You can either click buy shipping or confirm shipping. If you're going to use Amazon's purchasing for the labels, then you click buy shipping. If you're going to ship outside of Amazon services, you click confirm shipment. There is pros and cons to both. If you're using Amazon's, you are going to be covered more in A to Z claims. There's usually a little bit of a discount. It's all within the Amazon service, so everything's kind of all tied up in a nice bow. However, sometimes it is cheaper to go with an outside service depending on your item. Sometimes you have a large, bulky item or something that just weighs a lot that you want to use an outside shipping service for, and I've done both. The holiday times were really, really bad this last Q4 in 2020, and I found myself sometimes using a combination, but get familiar with both. In this example, we're going to just buy shipping through Amazon. My two favorite outside of Amazon shipping services would be Pirate Ship and Sendle. So if you're looking for those, you can check them out if you want. All right, on this, it's going to give you all sorts of things up here. We've got the item subtotal, we've got the shipping total, we've got the tax total, we've got exactly what the person paid. So one person is paying $10.34 for one pack of Cadbury eggs, and they bought the unit at $2.55. They paid shipping $6.94, and the tax goes in and out of your account, so 85 cents, and that Amazon takes care of that and sends that to New York. So we've got Robert, our customer in New York. You really don't need to pay attention too much to where Robert lives or his phone number up here. I don't think I've ever called a customer in my life. You don't really need to. There's really not a whole lot of reason. I've seen some people ask, like, how could we get Robert on our mailing list for our items and stuff? You don't. This is Amazon's customer. You cannot collect customer information for your own email list or customer contacts. I do pay attention to where the customer is. So Robert's in New York right now, and the reason for this would be if he is in like a really hot zone or if there's any problems with that zone. Sometimes there's hurricane season or there's shipping delays or there were snowstorms, etc. So sometimes weather reports and things like that will affect how I package something. A lot of times in the summer, I'm just looking to see, are you in a hot place or in not so hot a place? All right, these numbers down here will come in handy later. And we're going to start setting up and we're going to get these Cadbury eggs shipped to Rob. This is my work table in the office here. This was another item that was going out this morning, but not part of this Cadbury egg thing. So I need a box. Your boxes need to be brand new boxes. You cannot ship in boxes that have been used before. That is a no-no. That is against terms of service. Can you ship in boxes that have some sort of make or model on them? Yes, most boxes are going to have some sort of supplier stamped at the bottom, whether that's Duck brand or I do a lot of Supply Hut from eBay boxes. That's a really good eBay store to get supplies from. Supply Hut. Sometimes your staple boxes, I believe they have Carson written on the bottom, but whoever makes the box usually stamps the bottom of the box. That includes Walmart. Now, I typically don't like to ship out in boxes that have Walmart's brand name on the bottom if I'm shipping out Amazon. But I've done it in the past in pinch, and it's not the end of the world. It's not a good practice, though. So we've got our box here. We've, of course, got our item. I store all of my items in a nice, cool location that is clean and cool, not going to melt, etc., not going to be getting into, and, of course, away from the children because I've had my work stuff dipped into at the very beginning when I was setting up my office because they weren't sure whether it was for work or for them. So make sure your items are stored properly. I've got my little ice pack in a bread bag and I just put it in there and then I tie a little knot. I've got one piece of bubble wrap. I've got my scale. You need to have some sort of scale to weigh your items. But if you were just starting off and say you needed to cut down on supplies here, you know that the mini eggs are 10 ounces and then you could add a few ounces for everything else and it would still come out underneath a pound usually. But you really need to get a scale going so that you can be accurate on your shipping, because if you're not accurate on your shipping, two things could happen. They could return your item, your customer could be asked for more money to cover the difference, and or you're going to pay for more. So if I'm in a pinch, let's say I'm traveling or something and I'm shipping something, I'm going to obviously overestimate the shipping weight and you're going to pay for that. Scales are very cheap. And then I've got my tape measure to measure the box if you need to measure the box. I know this is a 4x4x4 box. So for these Cadbury eggs, because they are breakable and meltable, that's why I'm sticking them in a box. If this was a pack of licorice, then I would put it in a bag. And that's kind of what this was. It was an item that was similar to that. And it went in with an ice pack wrapped in bubble wrap into a poly bag to ship out, because it's not going to break. So put the Cadbury eggs in. I got one piece of bubble wrap, I've got one bag, and I've got one ice pack. And then I've got it on the scale. It's 14 ounces. So Amazon requires you to ship the item in a way to a customer that is going to get to the customer and be exactly what they wanted and match the website description. That's what Amazon wants. They do say you need a nice, clean, new box to ship in if you're shipping in a box. Everything else is kind of what Lucy, myself, thinks that would be good to give the customer a good experience. So if you don't think that bubble wrap is needed, then you don't need to put bubble wrap in there. If you don't think the ice pack is needed, then you don't have to put ice packs in there. But if you start getting complaints and or having negative feedback, You're going to need to look at your packaging and see what you can do to mitigate that and make your customers happy. Sorry, Amazon's customers. Always remember they are Amazon's customers. All right, I have weighed the box. You're going to round up. It was, I think, what, 13.8. So round up to 14 ounces. And then you're going to change the parcel dimensions and put in 4 by 4 by 4. And it's going to give you a bunch of shipping services. We've got priority flat rate envelopes. We've got legal flat rate envelopes. We've got USPS first class, which is what we're going to pick for this one. Come on, scroller. Okay. On this next page, if you were to click that box, this was another one that I opened up. It's not the same example. I wanted to show you guys something a little bit different. But if you go see all options, and again, this was for a different item, you can see exactly what your options are. So we've got FedEx overnight priority is the most expensive at $68 for this example. And down here we've got USPS priority cubic mail, which is $9. And then we've got USPS parcel ground, parcel select, which is ground. We've got USPS ground, priority mail, 3-day select, etc. Sometimes you'll need to open this up and select different things or see what your options are depending on the item. If you are shipping hazardous items that need to go ground, you're either going to have to ship UPS ground or USPS parcel select so that it's a ground service. If you're going to do USPS priority mail, you can get free USPS supplies, which might be good because then you're saving, 30-50 cents a box. So that might be something that's worth it. If it is a very large, or not large, but heavy item, sometimes the flat rate boxes will make it worth your while. So those are always good to have on hand as well. If you're going to do priority mail with the free USPS supplies, you need to follow all of their rules. If it's a flat rate box, you need to pay for flat rate postage. You cannot put different postages on the different items. So on this cubic mail, you can't put a first class postage on it. That's going to get kicked back. I accidentally had, when we were packing up during Q4, we accidentally did that. We had a priority mail free box and we put first class postage on it, and the mailman returned it and they gave me a little nasty gram. It was unintentional. I didn't mean to do it, but if you have that problem, two things can happen. Sometimes it will go through the system and they won't recognize it and you get pushed through, or they will return it to your house and now you need to redo everything and you will get late shipment problems with your Amazon account. Shipping times. If you look up here for this example, we've got an estimated delivery of Thursday, May 13th, Saturday, May 15th, or Wednesday, May 12th. That is something you want to pay attention to as well. If it's a big difference or even a little difference in time versus money, you may want to save $1 and have it get there a little bit later, or you may want to pay a little bit extra and have it get there quicker. When Q4 was happening, there was, you're getting closer to that December 25th date, and some items were going to get there after the 25th, or for like a 50 cents more, I could have them get there before the 25th. Well, you're gonna pay up to make sure your customer gets that item, because if they don't get it by the Christmas time that they ordered, they're probably going to return it or, cause problems and have negative feedback, etc. So, same with UPS ground. Sometimes the post was really backed up, and so paying, I think it was about 25-50 cents extra, the ground service was getting things there sooner. Q4 delays, touched on all of this. Just good to be familiar with it all. Now for the fun part, how much profit? Because at the end of the day, that's where we need to look at and see how much profit. When you are out scanning at the store, you can click on the seller fulfilled part on the Amazon seller app and kind of get an idea of what the fees are going to be and whatnot. But merchant fulfilling is sometimes a little bit difficult. I didn't include any screenshots on how you would calculate it out at the stores, but I typically kind of do the math in my head, honestly. For candy like we've been looking at, I see a sell price, it's going for about $10, It's 75 cents at the store. I know it's going to cost about $4 in shipping, and it's a couple dollars in packing supplies, so I can kind of rough guess that yes, it will be profitable. Now on the seller app, you can click over and look at the fee structure and punch in numbers for the calculations, etc. But let's look at some finished ones, because honestly the best way to test things out and see it is to buy some candy and walk yourself through it. That will give you so much experience and you will learn so much. It's the best learning thing. And really, at 75 cents a bag of candy, this is probably one of the cheaper lessons you could ever walk through to make sure that your templates are set up and you have the right supplies and you know what you're doing. Okay, so how much profit? Inventory Lab will talk to Amazon and see how much you paid for shipping and calculate out your profit. If you use an outside shipping service, you will need to go into Inventory Lab and punch in how much you paid for shipping to get these numbers to tally up. It's not hard. You would just go in here and change that number. I do not have my shipping supplies put into Inventory Lab because they are captured at a different line item with QuickBooks. So on this example here, we've got some Cadbury eggs. I got them at Walmart. This is how I do my SKU, Walmart _ 75 cents _ random number. And let's see here. This person paid $6.46. I think they bought a couple of packs. Multi-packs with candy are pretty common. A lot of people will buy several packs because they'll get a little bit, it makes sense with the shipping. So they paid $8.99 in shipping, $6.46 for the product, a total of $15.45. We've got $11.88 in fees and $3.57 total in profits. Over here you can see the ROI is 238%. My total buy cost was $1.50. So yeah, they bought a 2-pack. They bought 2 items, paid for shipping, and I made $3.57 off of it. Now that doesn't account for the ice packs, bags, bubble wrapped, or box that they shipped out in. So how would we do it without Inventory Lab? Which is usually how I do it, especially with new items that I'm trying out, etc. And I want to do a manual calculation. We've gone through most of the pieces of the puzzle you'll need except for finding out Amazon's fees. If you go to Manage Inventory, Merchant, these are all inactive items, you can see what the estimated fees are going to be per item. So 76 cents for a pack of Cadbury eggs. That's what Amazon's going to make off of my sale. You can also see the rank this morning was 33,000 in food, so that's pretty good too. They're probably all going to be selling out here quickly. Some people will buy this type of item and then hold it for a little while and let everybody sell out and then can get maybe a higher price if they hold on to it for a little bit. Okay, so 76 cents, and now we need to calculate everything out. When I am calculating out a profit for one item, I do include a lot of things, but there are things that I do not include. I do not include my overall operating costs to run my business. I run QuickBooks, I have a CPA, I have Inventory Labs, I have a Keepa subscription, I have an office with internet and power and a computer and all of these things are going to add up. But really when I'm looking at a profitable item to see whether it's profitable or not, I'm going to look at what goes in just into that item. So back to our Cadbury eggs, we've got item subtotal, shipping total, tax. This is what the customer paid based off of that order sales page sheet that we saw before. So they paid $2.55 plus $6.94, 85 cents for tax, a total of $10.34. Okay, so did I make any money off of it? Let's see. We take the item total, take out the tax, that just goes right to New York for taxes. We've got the actual shipping, cost $5.98 for shipping. These were all from the sales order sheet. Now from Inventory Lab, I know that the cost of goods was 75 cents, and that's why I work it into the SKU so that I can calculate these things out pretty fast. I do not pay tax at Walmart. I use my reseller permit, so there's no other cost there. It was 75 cents flat. Amazon's fee, We got that from Amazon's page, 76 cents. Shipping box, I get this all from my supplier spreadsheet. So 23 cents for a box, 5 cents for bubble wrap, 12 cents for an ice pack, and my bag from Walmart, 3 cents. So at the end of the day, I made $1.57 off of this one Cadbury eggs. Now that we know the profits, the next question is, was this worth it? You know, if you're outsourcing things, you kind of got to do a test and see, is it worth your time? Is it worth your money? Is it worth doing? You got to look at the storage cost, the shipping cost, how much time it took you to ship the item out. And overall, was this a good purchase or not a good purchase? And that's why, you know, back to seasonal candy is really good to kind of try things out. You can buy a few bags of candy for a couple of dollars, walk yourself through this process from start to finish, get a feel for it, see is it something that you want to do and incorporate into your business. For these Cadbury eggs, I bought a total of 42. I bought one whole case thing that was on Walmart's shelf in the clearance area and stuck it into the cart and just grabbed a whole box full. There was 42 in there. There was 6 other cases up there. And after walking through this, I kind of wish I had grabbed more. It seems to be the ongoing theme. Every time I kind of am testing things out, a lot of times I'm like, gosh, I should have bought more. But total, I bought 42. My cost of goods was 75 cents. So my total capital tied up was $31.50. You know, I was at the store. I was hemming and hawing with how much to get. I wanted to test out some Cadbury eggs this year and see how they were doing. And there was, you know, we'll just say 6 cases up on the shelf. And I debated and I said, okay, I'll get one case. And I tied up about $31.50 in capital. The time frame, I got them up and for sale on April 22nd. The last one shipped out, so less than a month I held on to these 42. So they sold out pretty darn quick. And in fact, this last one didn't sell because it's been sitting at my desk for a week. Because most of my candy were sold in multi-packs. And so it goes out even faster when they're multi-packs. 3 packs, 4 packs, 2 packs in candy do really well on Amazon. Okay, so I had this lonely piece of egg sitting on my cart and my desk for about a week. So really everything sold out within 3 weeks, 42 chocolates. The average profits, we'll just say they were $1.57 because I had many different ASINs with different chocolate listings. This is pretty under-evaluated. I know on my multi-packs I made more than $1.57, but we're just going to say averagely $1.57, 42 chocolates. That means about $65 worth of profits off that one decision. So, was that worth it? I think it was. I wish I had bought more. They were really super easy to pack up and turn. They increased my seller, the numbers on your seller board were really good with on-time delivery rates, and my feedback has been really good too. So all in all, they helped my account. They gave me some profits, and they were pretty easy to ship out. I like shipping out chocolates. Chocolates are fun. If you like doing something, that really plays into stuff too. Like, I do not like doing eBay orders, but I like shipping out chocolates. It makes me feel like the Easter Bunny, delivering goodness to everybody. Shipping templates. Let's talk about shipping templates. In this, I'm going to show you what my shipping template looks like. To get to your shipping template, there's several ways. I usually go up to the right side under your account and then just click shipping templates. So you've got general shipping settings here and shipping templates. I've got 2. I've got a priority flat rate one that I was doing for some bulk something one day. I can't remember what I haven't done that since Christmas time. But migrated shipping template is kind of my default one for all. I just do domestic, and the takeaway here is the only change I really made was the numbers right here. I went from whatever it was, I think it was $4.49 per order plus 49 cents per pound, and I changed that to $3.95 per pound. Because what people were doing were buying bulk candy or things that were heavy, and only adding 50 cents per pound extra, and I was getting hosed on the shipping. So you want to make sure your shipping templates are good to go. If we dive into this one, it's per item, weight based. That's what I use. Again, this is set up for what I'm doing, and you can see it's mostly like candy and whatnot in the off season for summer. So if you have something different, set up according to yourself and what you're selling, your inventory. I do not do the free economy. I do standard shipping. I have it calculated. If you want to do free, that's fine. Work the shipping price into your cost of goods. And then this is what it looks like. So I went through here and I changed this to $4.49 per order and then $3.95 per pound. So that seems to work for me. Whatever the customer is paying in shipping, my shipping cost is usually a bit on the cheaper side. So if the customer is paying $8, I'm usually paying like $5 or $6 in shipping. And it just works into the price. If you want to learn more about shipping and everything, there's so many videos. I don't know why I didn't click. Oh, because you can't. P.O. boxes overseas is really bad. These are overseas boxes, and there's a lot of things that can't go over there, so I did not click P.O. box for that. But I've got P.O. box clicked for Washington, Puerto Rico, Guam, Hawaii, the rest of the regions. Every once in a while, I'll get an order that... No, I actually haven't gotten an order lately. I've been doing merchant fulfilled for a while, and now that I've changed to these shipping settings, I can't think of any problems I've had. I don't have international on, and I took off the P.O. box for government ones, just with some issues that were there. So if you want to copy my template, if your inventory is kind of like mine, then you may want to copy this template. If you have other things, you're going to want to see what the best template is for your items. Then down at the bottom, I do not have expedited shipping. I do not have 2-day delivery. I do not have 1-day delivery. I do not have international shipping. And that's because I sometimes am going to have a day off, or, I want to have a little bit of wiggle room with how fast I get my deliveries out based on what I'm doing. If I set up a warehouse and I have people that do shipping for me every day and it's awesomeness, then you may want to turn these on because they'll get to your customers sooner. And if you get into the seller fulfilled Prime, then you'll get that little Prime box even if it's coming for a third-party merchant person. I'm not in the Prime program, so I can't really speak too much about it. And international shipping, if you're doing, a private label and you want to do international, it might be something you want to do. Something else that I see sellers talk about is putting in a max order quantity. If you have certain items, you may want to say the maximum somebody can order is whatever, 5, 10, whatever you want to do. That could be handy. Let's say I had 500 Cadbury eggs and somebody bought all 500 Cadbury eggs. Logistically, that might be a pain in the butt to get shipped out to them, etc. So you may want to put a max order if you're going to buy significant quantities of something and you aren't prepared for somebody to buy all of them. Because if your repricer hits or you get... I've seen a couple times where people put in the wrong price, instead of $111, they put in $11, and then somebody sees that and they buy all of them. Well, you can go cancel the order for sure, but there's just different reasons why you may want to put the max quantity ordered in there, depending on what your inventory is. This would be under the actual item. So if you go to your item and click edit, it's under the offer tab up here to have a max order quantity. So keep that in mind too if you have a large quantity of something. These are all the links that will be down below in the description down below. I think the only thing I haven't touched on is once everything is packaged up, I schedule a USPS pickup every day at my house, and they sit out front and my guy comes and picks them up. So if once you're done getting it all ready to go, make sure you get it to the post office somehow, some way. And with Meltables, keep that in mind too. If my porch is getting really hot in the summer, you may want to keep your items, especially if they're meltable, in a cooler or in a freezer out there. Put some ice packs in a cooler and keep your packages cold. Or get them dropped off to the post ASAP. That is it, folks. Thank you for joining, and if you like these videos, go ahead and like and subscribe. Give me some thumbs up so that I can continue making videos for you all. All right, I've got to get back to work.